as one for the Alliance!
Yo, what's up guys, Toby from the MasterBok Show, and I hope you're having an amazing day. Today we will be showcasing our Divine Power, a type of character that has so much AC and can debuff its enemies to the point that it can literally do nothing but miss. Utilizing its high dexterity and initiative, always being first in the battle to dive in the front line in order to protect its allies. Able to fight solo or in a group, this is going to be a great addition to your team. If you want a build that is a frontliner tank that can also buff and heal your allies when needed, this is the build for you. I'm talking about the light cleric in my version of the Guardian. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, here we are now guys in our character creation screen. This is where we will be building the foundation of our Guardian. For today, we are eyeing on two races that are interesting for the build, starting with the elf and the half elf. The reason for this is we are just eyeing on a specific sub race that these two races have, which is the wood elf. This actually has the sub race feature Fleet of Foot, which will increase our move speed up to 1.5 meters. For the races, you can actually go with the elf. It gives elven weapon training, proficiencies in long sword, short bow and long bow, dark vision, fey ancestry, which gives us advantages in saving throws from charmed and sleep. I highly advise you go with the half elf of the two because of the civil militia, which gives us weapon proficiencies, spears, spikes, halberds, and glaives, as well as armor proficiencies in light armor and shield. But depending on your preference, you can go either way. As I mentioned, for the sub race, we'll just go with the wood half elf version. For the classes, we are eyeing on a specific powerful class for the build, which is the Cleric. The Cleric gives us already the proficiencies that we got from the half-elf version, which is the light armor, medium armor, and shields. But the really cool thing about this is the sub-race that we need for today, which is the Light Domain. The Light Domain gives us the cantrip Light, which infuses objects with light, as well as Light Domain powers like Burning Hands and Fairy Fire. But the most important thing that we need is the subclass feature Warding Fire. It will shield us with Divine Light. We can actually use our reaction to impose disadvantages to our enemies and possibly cause them to miss. For the cantrips, you can get any cantrips that you like. I highly advise you go with Guidance and Sacred Flame because this is gonna be the source of our DPS for the early levels. For the deities, you can get any deities that you like. I'll just go with the Loon. For the background, there are two backgrounds that are interesting for this build, which is the Acolyte and the Folk Hero. For the Folk Hero, it's gonna be giving you animal handling and survival skills, and for the Acolyte is Insight and Religion. For me, I'll just go with the Acolyte because Insight is a really interesting skill to have for this build. For the abilities, we are just prioritizing 3 abilities for today, starting with our Dexterity. The Dexterity is the most important of the 3 because we need as much AC as we can. It will also affect our initiative. The higher the AC that we have or the higher the dexterity that we have, higher chances initiative so that we can reposition and tank as early as possible. And the second one is the wisdom because we are a cleric and we will be using a lot of wisdom spells for this character. And finally, for the constitution, this will increase our hit points and as well as our constitution saving throws. For the prepared spells, there are a number of spells that you will be needing. I highly advise you go with healing spells because not only you will be the tank, you can also be the healer of the party. Right after character creation, we just unlock the most important class action that we need for the build, which is the Radiance of the Dawn. This is a really cool class action because it will deal 3 to 21 damage. That is a 2d10 plus 1 radiant damage every single time we use it using our Channel Divinity. Speaking of Channel Divinity, we just got our first Channel Divinity for this level. For the prepared spells, you'll be responsible for healing and tanking for the party, so having a few healing spells is really effective. Or you can just get Blessed or maybe a Shield of Faith. Level 3 of our Cleric, we just unlock a few class features such as our level 2 spells and a level 1 spell, and light domain spells such as Flaming Spear and Scorching Ray. For this level, you just get whatever spells that you need. I highly advise you get any supporting spells like Prayer of Healing. Maybe you get Aid this early because this will really be good for your level. Coming in for level 4 of our Cleric, we just unlock few class features, but the really important here is the feat. We are eyeing on the alert feat that will increase our bonus initiative by 5 so that we can always into a more advantageous position for us to effectively tank our enemies. As early as level 5, we are unlocking our first power spike and the most important spell that we need for the build, which is the Spirit Guardian. Spirit Guardian is a really powerful level 3 conjuration spell that will call on spirits that will help us and protect us, dealing around 3 to 24 radiant damage or 3 to 24 necrotic damage depending on our preference, and their move speed is half whenever they are in the Spirit Guardian area. The really cool thing about this is we can actually upcast the Spirit Guardian to increase its damage to the enemies. So we'll just take Spirit Guardian as soon as possible. Coming into level 6 of our Cleric, we just unlock our next Divinity class charges and a level 3 spare slot. But the really cool thing that we have is our subclass feature, which is the improved Warding Flare. When an enemy attacks an ally, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on their attack roll, possibly causing their attack to miss, which we will be proccing this a lot of times so that we can help our allies. Now level 7 of our Cleric, we are now introducing another class to the mix in the form of the Paladin. The Paladin is a really powerful class because we are unlocking a few class features that are really nice for the build, which is the Lay on Hands, one of the most powerful healing spells of the game, as well as Healing Radiance. For the subclass, we are just going for the Oath of Vengeance because we are eyeing on the Inquisitor's Might. Level 8 of our Guardian, we just unlock our Paladin level 2 and our Fighting Style. We are eyeing on the Defense Fighting Style. This will give us the class passive that we will gain +1 bonus to our AC while we are wearing armor. For the prepared spells, we are just selecting the smites that we need. I'll just go with maybe this Thunderous Smite. For level 9 of our Guardian, we are now introducing a new class to the mix. You heard it right, guys. We are not just going to be double classing for today. We are triple classing in the form of the Bard. We are eyeing on a specific subclass later on, as well as the really cool thing about the Bard is it increases the number of spell charges or the spell levels that we can dish out later on for this levels. For the cantrips, we're just eyeing on a few cantrips that we don't have. We're just gonna go with Vicious Mockery and as well as Friends. For the spells, you can get any utility spells that you don't have. So for me, I'll just go with the utility spells of Featherfall, Longstrider, and maybe Disguise Self, Tasha's Hideous Rafter. Level 10 of our Guardian, which is level 2 of our Bard, we just unlock our new class features such as additional level 4 spells and a level 5 spell. And the most important thing here is the Song of Rest. Basically, it will give us an additional short rest whenever we can. For the spells, we just go for the spells that we don't have. I'll just go with Animal Speaking or Speak with Animals. Coming in for level 11 of our Guardian, we just unlock the second and the final most important subclass that we need in the form of the College of Sword. We are eyeing on the Defensive Flourish. This will increase our AC by 4 whenever we hit an enemy. For the spells, you can just get any spells that you like. I highly advise you get Knock, which is a really effective skill to have. For the fighting style, it doesn't really matter. I'll just go with Dueling. And finally, for level 12, we just unlock our final feat for this level, and we are dumping it all in ability improvement so that we can increase our dexterity as much as possible. This will most likely be 20 whenever you get the hair from Anti-Ethel in Act 1. Alright, now I'm going to be showing you guys 2 builds for today. This is the item setup that we need to make our Guardian really powerful. I'll be showcasing one build, which is the the Act 1 and Act 2 for the early game builds, and the other one is for the late game, which is Act 3. Don't forget guys to check out the description below. I'll be writing all of the links so that you can easily locate these items that I mentioned. Alright, we're gonna be starting off with the Repairer's Crown. This will grant us the passive of Crowning Glory. Whenever we heal an ally or anything, they will gain additional 1 to 6 hit points. For the second one is the most important item for the build, which is the Luminous Armor. This can carry you from Act 1 to Act 3, and you have the option to not change this armor because it is that good. The really cool thing about this armor is that we get the passive Radiating Shockwave. When the wearer deals radiant damage, they will cause Radiant Shockwave. This is a class action inflicting Radiant Orb in a 3-meter radius. So you can just imagine how much radiant damage that we will be dishing out. Every time we deal radiant damage, it will cause an additional radiating orb explosion so that it can stick to additional target, decreasing their attack opportunities by 1. For the third one is the really cool Luminous Glove. It will grant us the passive Radiating Orb Gloves. When the wearer deals another radiant damage, the target will receive 1 turn of Radiating Orb as well as a strength saving throws. And yes, Radiating Orb charges stacks. So whenever we have a Radiating Shockwave or Radiant Shockwave, a Luminous Glove passive will activate and push an additional 1 turn of Radiating Orb to different sort of target. It is not an AoE damage, but whenever we deal radiant damage to that target, that will get the Radiating Orb charges. For the rings, we are eyeing on the Arcane Radiance. Whenever the wearer deals spell damage while being eliminated by Light Source, they will also inflict additional Radiating Orb upon the target for 2 turns. And finally, for the rings, we get the Whispering Promise. Because of the Blessed Mercy passive, whenever we heal a creature, it will gain a 1d4 bonus to our attack rolls and saving throws for 2 turns. Basically, whenever we heal ally or any target, we will grant them Bless. And now for the weapons, I'm eyeing on the Shining Staver of the Skulls because it has an radiant damage included to the weapon. And finally, for the shield, you can get whatever shield that you need. We just need the additional AC from that shield. Alright guys, I'm now going to be showing you how we deal some damage early game for our Guardian. So whenever we start a battle, we always use our Spirit Guardian. So we're just going to use Spirit Guardian for this turn. As you see here, we are dealing additional radiant damage to the enemy and stacking up radiant orbs. So what we're going to be doing here is we are just moving around the target. And don't worry about that guys, most likely they'll be missing us because of our high AC and the radiating orb charges that they have. And a miss and another damage. Now we'll try to spread the power of the radiating orb to other enemies here. So what we'll be doing is we are just gonna move closer to the enemy so that they get radiating orb charges. We're just gonna use the power of the Radiance of Dawn to inflict additional radiant damage to the enemy by just expending our channel divinity. So we'll just use it here. And we just dealt additional damage. As you see here, they now have radiating orb charges. Now I'm going to be showing you the Act 3 build, which is the endgame build for our Guardian. We just need a few tweak or items to make our Guardian as powerful as it can be, starting with the Helm of Baldur. It's going to be giving us the passive Baldur's Vitality. The helmet will heal us 2 hit points at the beginning of every single turn, as well as the passive Baldur's Favor. We will have 1 bonus AC and saving throws, and we are immune to getting stunned as well as getting critically hit, which is really cool. Second is the Reviving Hands. This will give us the passive Aegis Palm. Whenever we heal a creature, it will gain the effect of Blade Ward, and whenever we revive an ally, we will get Death Ward. The thing is that I'm actually on the fence on the Reviving Hands compared to the Luminous Glow. The Luminous Glow is more of a DPS sort of glove than the support glove of the Reviving Hands. But depending on your preference, guys, you can just go with the Luminous Glow, which is my preference, or you can just go more of a support type using the Reviving Hands. For the boots, you can just get the Evasive Shoes. It will give you Acrobatics +1 and additional AC. For the amulet, you can get the best amulet in the game, which is the Amulet of the Greater Health, which will set our Constitution to 23. Now we're going to be talking about the weapons. I highly advise you get the Sacred Star, which will give us the passive Radiant Strike on hit, inflict 1 turn of Radiating Orb on the target, and it also has plus 1d4 radiant damage on top of that. For the shield, you can just get Vonika's Walking Fortress. It will give you Rebuke of the Mighty. When a foe hits you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to deal 2 to 8 force damage and knock the enemy prone. Alright guys, I'm now going to be showing you some active gameplay on how we properly utilize our Guardian. You can actually play the Guardian solo or with party members, but I highly advise you play with party members so that we can really utilize the power of the Guardian, which is really fun. So whenever we start a battle or on turn 1 or after a long rest, we need to buff out our party or by increasing their HP. To do that is we are going to be using Aid. Aid is a really powerful spell, and we can also upcast this to increase further HP. The base number is 5 hit points of their maximum health, and we can upcast it to 25. We only need to upcast it up to level 5 because we're going to be using the level 6 spell slot later on. We're going to be increasing the party's HP by 20 using Aid. Now we just increased the HP of our allies, and after that is we're gonna be using Bless to every single ally that we have. To do that is we're gonna utilize the power of healing and the power of the ring that we have in order for us to activate Bless for all our allies. So we're just gonna use the lowest level of healing for the spell to be really effective. So we're just gonna use Prayer of Healing. Now we just activated Bless. Now we're gonna be dealing some damage to the enemies using the power of the Guardian Spirit. The Spirit Guardian is really powerful because we can upcast it up to level 6. That will increase the damage up to 6d8 every single time the enemy gets hit by the Spirit Guardian for 10 turns. So we're just gonna use Spirit Guardian. Now we just had the Spirit Guardian active. Just to let you know guys, I'm not going to deal some damage using my allies. They're just here to watch me slaughter everyone. Now we just started a battle using our Guardian. As you see here, the enemy already has the Radiating Orb. That effect is going to be stacking up because of the armor, the gloves that we equip. So we're just going to be utilizing this and repositioning, moving from enemy to enemy. So as you see here guys, the enemy just tried to attack one of my allies, and one of my improved warding flare just popped up. This is a reaction that we can use to impose disadvantage to the allies attacker for them to miss. Now we're gonna be attacking with our Guardian. We're just gonna be repositioning ourselves, proccing some Spirit Guardian charges or attacks so that we can deal additional radiant damage and replenish more radiating orbs to the enemy. So we're just gonna be proccing some opportunity attacks because most likely they're going to be missing us. So now we just reposition to a new area, and I want to use this Radiance of the Dawn. As you see here, we just nuked a lot of enemies there, and we just killed one of them. So as you see here, every single time we proc additional radiant damage, our enemies get more radiating orb charges. As you see here, radiating orb is now at 21. Again, we're going to be attacking with a Guardian. The goal here is to spread the radiating orb as much as possible and dish out some damage along the way. So we're just going to move here. Now we just add radiating orb damage, and then going to be repositioning again, and going to use the Radiance of the Dawn to dish out additional radiating damage toward this area. As you see here, enemies just got obliterated, and ending our turn. Miss. And again, as here, enemy now has a radiating orb debuff. And then allies. Somebody just came close to us and just died. Miss. Miss again. Now she did. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you see how powerful the Guardian can be. It is an amazing class solo and it works perfectly with party members, and it is the ultimate warrior of light that can aid your allies, buffing them and healing them, or just dishing out disgusting amount of radiant damage to your opponents. Just a quick question for you guys. What do you think about the build? Is it the build that you'll be rocking on your next playthrough in Baldur's Gate 3, or are you using this build currently? Would love to know your comments down below. Shoutouts for all of the community members to subscribe and keep on supporting the channel. Thank you so much, guys, for all of support. Wish I earn your subscription in the future, but if I earn it today, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. And I almost forgot, guys, if you like the video, please hit it a like. It really lets me know that you guys are enjoying my build videos. That's it for me. I hope to see you soon on the next MasterBok show. Peace out. Bye, guys.